Hello, everyone. Today, I want to have a brief episode talking about joy and excitement in game development and the process of prototyping. I want to explore that just a little bit because I have some thoughts about how changing the way that I prototype games and changing the way that I decide what project I'm working on might inspire a little bit more joy and might make things a little bit more fun and result in a more fun game in the end. This is Game, Develop, Repeat. I'm your host, Chris, and as always, thank you for joining me. Is the creative process joyful for you? Is it inherently joyful? I think that creating things is generally a fun activity. I think at its core, it is something that brings a little bit of excitement, a little bit of joy, a little bit of play. Right? I think as we grow up and put expectations on it, things can morph a little bit for sure. But games generally, beginning to end, from the moment that somebody starts creating them to the moment that somebody finishes playing them, are about joy and exploration. Even the most painful and disturbing games come from a place of creativity. I don't know, maybe I'm going too broad stroke with this theory, but I think that the guy who makes the dark nightmare of a game had a lot of fun making it, had a lot of fun exploring those ideas. So, in playing a game, the joy is obvious. In making a game, it can get a little more complicated, but I think there are related things in both of them. Let's try and draw a line between, and I might be stretching on this one, but let's try to draw a line between prototyping a game and finding a game that you enjoy playing. How many times have you bounced from game to game going, I'm not really in the mood for this one? Or, oh, maybe I want to play that one, and then you hop into it and you go, no, I don't want to play it. Or you play a game for a little while, you get a couple hours deep, and you go, this one's not for me. I'm going to pass on this game. And maybe there's this thing in the back of your head that's like, I have all these unfinished games. I should finish those games. I'd encourage you to just say, no, I'm done with that one. And then some of them maybe you go, I do want to go back and play that game. And I think we can draw a line between that and projects. The projects that we create. The projects that we want to finish but don't really want to finish. The exciting idea that we explore for a little while and then go, maybe not, maybe never mind. And I think there's two angles that I want to approach this. One is I have a crazy game backlog of games that I've partially played but haven't beaten. I think that's fine. I think there's a moment to beat it. There's a moment when it's bringing me joy. There's a moment when it's exciting for me. And sometimes there are things you need to push through. Sometimes you need to keep yourself from getting distracted and jumping to something else. But sometimes you're just done with that game. And I would like to try to take that approach with some of my game development projects as well. I'm going to go ahead and jump over to talking about development. But as far as the game side of things goes, I think my idea today, my message is, if you got a thick backlog, maybe those games just aren't bringing you joy right now. Maybe you don't have to play every game. Maybe you don't have to finish every project. Maybe some of them you can just declare finished. You can look at it and go, do I actually want to keep this on the list? And then if you do, maybe you just go, this is the mood that game is for. And I'm just going to, once I'm in that mood and I have that time, then I'll hop back in. But until then, it can hang out. It can wait for me. Nobody needs me to play that. I don't need me to play that. It'd be nice to finish it, but this fear of missing out, screw that. That doesn't really matter right now. I've got something that I am in the mood for. And this isn't an obligation that has to be done. So that's the game side of things. Let's talk development. I've realized recently that I have a problem with pressure on my projects. I say recently, this is a theme, right? You have some creative idea. I have some big creative idea, and then I want to take it and I want to make it into the best game that I've made. I want to make it into the most interesting thing, and I want to make it into something that everybody is going to like. That's unnecessary. I can simply make it into the project that I want to make right now. And that is the most simple version of the thing that I want to talk about today, the thing that has been on my mind. And that is, whatever your project is, it does not need to be the big thing. It may not be appropriate for it to be the big thing. It might be appropriate for it to be the big thing. Maybe that's what you're excited about right now. Maybe that is what is bringing you joy, to quote Marie Kondo. Does it spark joy or not? Do the games in your backlog spark joy, or is it time to get rid of them and let go of it and take that weight off of your shoulder? And maybe you can revisit them later, but maybe you can go, oh, thank you for all that cool stuff you taught me, right? Or maybe not so much. And let's jump into some Marie Kondo. Sorry, this is you might be aware of this. You might not. I don't know how much overlap there is between that and game development podcasts. But the life-changing magic of tidying up. She has a whole thing about picking up an object when your house is all cluttered and going, does this spark joy? And if it doesn't spark joy, you get rid of it. If it does spark joy, you keep it. Pretty straightforward. Tuning into yourself and going, do I like this? Do I not? Does this make me feel joyful in some deeper level? Is this something that belongs in my life? And I think we can take that process and we can apply it to game development and to our backlogs. And when I'm looking at a project, a lot of the times there's a point in the project where it goes from I'm really excited about this to this is an obligation. And I think that is a natural part of the whole thing. But if you're at the very beginning of a project and it's not sparking joy, what's going on? Maybe now's not the time for that project. If no project is sparking joy and you're having to struggle and trying to force yourself to do this project or that project or the other thing, then it might be, excuse me, if you've just heard my phone ringing, I'm going to keep rolling. It might be time to take a little rest and draw some inspiration. It might be time to reconnect with nature, to take a little hibernation spell for a couple weeks. Or it might be time to sit down and just write about some ideas that you have, write about some interesting stuff. It might be time to explore some music concepts, some art, something else. It might be time to up your skills a little bit and just dive into some programming theory. It might be a good moment for skilling up in general. The point being, creativity, it can't be forced. You can set yourself up for it. You can set time aside for it. In fact, you should, because life is so chaotic and noisy. But I think, or at least I think you should. I don't actually know. But for me, I have too many things that I hang on to. And I don't know if you can relate to this or not. But there are projects that there's this quiet thing in the back of my head that's I do still want to do this. I am still excited about this project. And I'm not doing it. Those ones, maybe we keep them. They do spark joy. We put them in a little I don't know, in a folder somewhere not completely out of sight, but you can put it somewhere and set a date and go check back in on these at this time and see if it's time. See if they need to marinate a little bit. Oh, that project idea, maybe it just needs to marinate. And then you come back to it and you go, oop, it's ready. It's ready to go. Or, it's gone. It's time to get rid of it. Maybe that's what we do with those. Maybe not. But I think you probably know what I'm talking about if I say there are projects that feel ripe, that feel ready to go, that feel like it is time. There are projects where you go, I am ready to do this. This is the next thing to tackle. Let's hop in. And you get in there, and there are frustrations, and there are things where you're like, I wish I understood how to do this. I wish I understood how to do this. This is in my way. But you don't care. You figure it out. You dive deeper. You figure out the next solution to that problem, and you just keep moving forward, and you're grooving, and you're flowing with it, and it's going well. The obstacles are just things that you take on. They're just challenges. They're just things that are interesting to you, and you learn from the whole process. That is a perfect time to tackle a project, right? That moment when you go, oh, yeah, okay, it's ready to go. Now, what is that? This is why I want to explore some stuff around prototyping. I want to, both prototyping and brainstorming, I guess. I want to do some idea generation until there's an idea that I go, oh, boom, there it is. That's the one that I want to go a little deeper on. And then I want to start trying to prototype that idea and going, how do I go a little deeper on this? What can this become? I'm talking tiny ideas, little one-liners, little things that are just like, what if it's a wizard going to school, right? Like, that's the line, right? Does that spark something in your brain? I mean, everybody just thought Harry Potter, fine, cool. If you didn't think Harry Potter, if you started thinking of a whole nother concept, then maybe it did spark something in your brain. But if you're spinning something off of a very simple idea, right? You can go a game about a matchstick and then come up with a list of 20 different ideas, just things that pop in your mind. Does the matchstick walk around? Is lighting important in this? Is it a platformer about a matchstick trying to avoid water obstacles? Is it a puzzle where you have so many things that you can light? You have a timer before the matchstick burns out and you have to get somewhere to spread your fire to pass it to somebody else. Are you using the light to navigate spaces and you're avoiding some monster that has a water gun? I mean, what are the things that you can come up with when you think of matchstick? What are the things you can come up with when you think of top-down shooter? It's pretty broad. But what if you combine that with matchstick, right? What if you combine that with water gun? What if you combine it with whatever the heck you want to combine it with? And then you get that big list of ideas and you go, are any of these juicy? Do any of these feel like they might get ripe? Do any of these feel like they are ripe? And then you start exploring that. And that is where my interest is right now. Because if I'm being realistic, now is not the time for me for big projects. Now is the time for me for small prototypes. Now is the time for me to explore ideas and understand how I find and explore good ideas, to find what sparks joy and to dig into it and to notice when an idea needs to be put on the back burner and when an idea needs to be absolutely just driven into. When an idea is fresh and ready to go and turn on the oven, let's go. It's preheated already. All right, pop it in there, right? When the banana is perfectly ripe for whatever your particular taste is. This is important to me. And I want, for me, sorry, I'm being very selfish right now, but I hope you can relate to it. I want to figure out how to prototype. I want to figure out how to prototype quick enough not to get a cool, great prototype that I can show people, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Don't even care. I want to prototype in a way where I go, oh, this is an idea that I want to pursue, or this is an idea that I do not care about at all, right? I want to get to a point where I go, nope, nah, you know what, no. Or try a couple different angles and see if one works especially well. But I think that is something I've been missing. I've been having this dumb little thing that I bet a lot of people do this. I bet. Maybe I'm just, maybe not. Maybe it's just me. But I have this dumb little thing where I go, oh, this is a great idea. I'm committed to this now. Right? I just go, a game about being a paper airplane flying through hell? What a great idea. Oh, and then you could do this, and this. And I go, I'm committed. I'm making this game now. Without playing with the idea. Without getting to the point of going, oh, no, this is a good idea. Without giving it enough juice. Without giving it enough. And then when you get to that point in the game development cycle where it kind of lulls, then are you still motivated by how cool that game was to begin with? Because you might be. Or are you just motivated by, I just want to finish the game? I think there's a, I think there's a very big difference between I'm excited about what this game is going to be and I'm excited about finishing this game. And yes, finishing the game is always going to be a part of the motivation. Sure. But I am really big on aligning motivations. I think about this. I haven't thought about this in a personal way before, and not in a long time, but I think about this on an institutional level a lot. I do not trust institutions whose motivations are not in alignment with mine, right? This is why I do not trust subscription fees. Their motivation is to keep me subscribed as long as possible rather than to provide me with a quality product. Well, it depends on the subscription fee, right? Subscriptions in games, I don't trust them because there's a lot of things that games can do to make you stay subscribed. Subscription fees in situations where you are locked into their particular economy, where you're locked into their platform, I should say, not a big fan. Subscription fees, there can be use cases where it's a really good thing. I get it. There are use cases that are great, actually. But generally, I'm suspicious of them because I go, okay, let's look at your motivation. Let's look at my motivation. Let's see if they align. You know? Like, if you're subscribing to Netflix because you want access to The Office, they're not actually motivated to keep The Office on there unless that's why everybody else is subscribing to it. But I'm getting on to a whole tangent now. The point I'm trying to make is, it's worth looking at my own motivational structure. It's worth looking at your motivational structure and saying, when I'm making this game, am I making it because I'm excited about the game idea? And is that what I want my motivation to be? Or am I making it because I'm excited about money? And is that what I want the motivation to be? Am I motivated to do this so I don't starve? Or am I motivated to do this because it is cool and exciting and I have something I want to share with the world? There's going to be a mix of things. But which motivation motivates you specifically, to make the best game that you can? In every moment of developing a game, in every moment of creating something, what makes you want to make a cool, enjoyable game? Is it money? That could be the case. It depends on you. Maybe the idea of financial reward makes you go, I really need to have incredible quality. I really need to have a very compelling narrative. I need to make people excited about this. I need to do everything I can to make sure that this game is worth people's money. Maybe that's your motivator. To me, that motivator is not a strong enough and directly connected motivator to the idea of gameplay. I want a motivator that is connected to the game very directly. I want to be motivated by the idea of a game that I enjoy playing and that I want to share with people. And I think in order to have that, I need to not start resenting the project. I think it is fine to get through the whole thing, get to a point where you are no longer joyful about it in the same way, right? You're not going to have joy about the project in the way that you did day one, but you should still be kind of psyched on it. And you should still be like a little bit like, oh, this is kind of cool. There should be a thing where you're like, I'm glad I'm working on this, you know? Today, not so much. I'm tired and I'm hungry and I don't like this and this programming problem is dumb and it sucks and this is really frustrating. But the game will be cool, and I'm excited to solve this problem because it's going to be really cool to see this element in action, and like that's freaking hype, and I can't wait to share it with people. But right now, this blows. You know, that's great. I think that is a really good like version of, oh my God, this sucks so much right now. Imagine that feeling, but instead of being hyped about the game and hyped about sharing it and hyped about all the potential and cool stuff that it could become, and seeing those mechanics slot into place and line up and be exciting and intertwined and like solving that puzzle, Imagine all that, but instead you're motivated just by money, and you're going through all of those problems, and you're going, I can't wait to make a bunch of money. You're going to go, there are easier ways to make money. There are much easier ways to make money. And then if your game is not a smash hit, you're going to be like, that's all I made? I did all that, and all I cared about was money, and this is all I made? Dang. Why didn't I worked 3 years on this game, and if I do the math, this is how much I made. Why didn't I just get a second job? Or why didn't I put all that effort into working on this thing so I could make more money in my day job? And you know what I mean? I feel like the motivate. I keep using money as the easy example, sorry, but there are other motivators you can pick, right? You can pick glory as oh my God, with the phone calls, I'm going to have to take that call in a second. You can pick any kind of motivation and see how it aligns with your enjoyment of making games. And am I overthinking this? For sure. But I do think that it's relevant to a thing that I have been dealing with. Specifically, I want to enjoy making games. And sometimes I lose that joy. And I haven't been investigating that because I've been scared of it. I've been looking at it and going, what if I don't like making games? What if I want to stop making games? I used to like it so much, but what if I don't like it? Right? What if I'm not about this anymore? But if I actually dig into it, if I actually look at it and look it in the eyes, it's not about that. It's about taking on projects that are too big, that don't spark joy right now. It's about looking at things that I don't have time for, and then they become obligations, and it becomes a whole mess. No, it's got to be about projects that I'm hyped on. It's got to be about projects that spark joy. Thanks, Marie Kondo. All this Marie Kondo coming back to me years after she helped me clean my room. I think that about does it for development talk. Let's figure out what question I'm going to ask y'all in the Discord and then call it quits. I got to answer this phone call first, though. Sorry for the ringtone interruptions, but I was on a roll, so I didn't want to break my flow. Our discussion question for this week is, what is your prototyping process? It might not be something fully structured or thought out. It might be vibes. But what is it? And do you have any interest in modifying it? Are there parts of it that you feel like are really strong and firm and useful and good? Are there parts of it that always frustrate you but are either necessary or just need to be replaced and you haven't taken the time for it? What's prototyping look like for you? And I'm going to be honest, I'm asking this because I'm trying to figure out what to do with prototyping right now, and I could use a little inspiration. I could use a little knowledge from those of you who have this sorted out or are further down the road than I am, as I'm sure many of you probably are. Most of you, to be honest. I'm not very good with digging deep on this. Right now, my process is more like brainstorming than anything. It's not really a prototyping thing. So I'm going to be looking into this a little bit, and I'd love for you to share your process with me and with the rest of the community. You can join the Discord, as always, or you can email me, anxiousbuddhagames@gmail.com. That is everything that I've got for you this week. I actually went longer than I expected to. I've had a bit of a sore throat this week, so apologies if that affected my voice. Luckily, it's already feeling better, so I was able to get through a decently long recording. All right, that's everything I got. Thank you, as always, for joining me. Until next week, get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. Bye-bye.